Imagine building a seven-figure company from nothing, only to have your own family try to steal it from you in front of everyone during Thanksgiving dinner. What would you do if your own blood betrayed you and your dreams were on the line? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll see the shocking, unforgettable way I took back everything and finally stood up to the people who thought they could erase me. I built a seven-figure company from absolute nothing, with my own hands, my own sleepless nights, and my own sacrifices. And my own family tried to steal it all in one single night, right in front of the entire extended family, while the roasted turkey was still steaming on the table. That was the night my own blood tried to erase me completely, in front of everyone who mattered. Hello everyone, and welcome to this deeply emotional journey. My name is Arlette, and today I am finally sharing the full, raw, uncut story of the most painful betrayal of my life, and how I took back my power in the most unforgettable way possible. If you have ever been stabbed in the back by the people who were supposed to love and protect you the most, if you have ever poured your soul, your time, your money, and your youth into something only for family to try and snatch it away without a second thought, then this long story is going to hit you straight in the heart. I promise you, stay with me till the very end. The emotional buildup is slow and heavy. The tension will keep you glued, and the final revenge payoff will give you that deep satisfaction and catharsis you have been craving. If you are ready for real justice, smash that like button right now, subscribe, turn on notifications, and let's begin. I am 29 years old today, but even after all these years, the simple smell of roasted turkey with sage and butter still makes my jaw tighten, my stomach twist into knots, and my chest feel heavy. It instantly transports me back to that cold November Thanksgiving night. The night my family thought they could publicly humiliate me and take away everything I had built since I was 23. Let me take you back slowly and honestly to the very beginning of my journey, because you need to understand how much this company really meant to me. I started my marketing agency when I was just 23 years old. I had no rich parents, no investors, no safety net, and no one to fall back on. I took a small personal loan of $12,000 from a bank. Every single penny of that loan I repaid myself over the next few years through pure hard work and determination. I worked from a tiny, freezing studio apartment where the heater barely worked in winter. The windows would rattle with every gust of wind. Many nights I sat at a borrowed old wooden desk, my laptop open, surrounded by stacks of invoices, client proposals, and unpaid bills, drinking the cheapest instant coffee just to keep my eyes open past 3 a.m. While most girls my age were enjoying parties, late-night outings with friends, shopping, and carefree travel, I was grinding alone. I remember the fear and anxiety I felt when I landed my very first client, a small, struggling local business that was on the verge of closing. I promised them a complete marketing turnaround, even though inside I was terrified that I might not know how to deliver it perfectly. My hands were literally shaking under the table during that first important negotiation call. My voice trembled, but I somehow closed the deal. There were so many difficult weeks when I paid my small team their full salaries first, while I skipped my own paycheck completely because I couldn't bear the thought of letting them down or losing the only people who believed in me. I survived on instant ramen noodles for days. I worked until 4 a.m. many nights. I cried in the shower more times than I can count. But slowly, with stubborn hope, relentless effort, endless cold calls, and pure determination, that tiny one-person operation grew into a respected seven-figure marketing agency known for turning failing businesses around and delivering real results. But what I didn't realize during all those hard years of building was that my own family was watching my success very closely from the sidelines, and they were quietly making secret plans that would shatter my trust forever. My brother Ethan was 2 years older than me. From childhood, he was always treated as the golden child of the family. He was tall, charming, always well-dressed, and had that easy, confident smile that seemed to win over everyone without any effort. But unlike me, Ethan never really built anything substantial with his own hands. He drifted from one half-baked idea to another. He traveled across Europe on my parents' money, posting motivational quotes on Instagram and living a comfortable life while I was the one carrying the entire weight of responsibility on my shoulders. My parents would often say things that sounded like praise on the surface, but carried a hidden, heavy message. "You're so strong and capable, Arlette. You can handle all the pressure. Ethan just needs a little more time to figure out his own path in life." I believed them for years. I wanted to be the good, responsible daughter. I wanted to prove that I could carry the family name with pride. So I kept working harder and harder, ignoring the small warning signs that were slowly appearing in our conversations. Then, exactly 3 weeks before that fateful Thanksgiving, I accidentally discovered something on my father's laptop that still makes my hands shake and my heart race every time I think about it today. I was at our biggest client's office and needed to quickly print some important documents. I opened my father's laptop for just a second, and there it was, an email draft that was never meant for my eyes. It was a secret ownership transfer agreement. My name was being completely removed from the company I had built. Ethan's name was being inserted as the new sole owner. The documents were already prepared, dated, and ready to be executed. They had been planning this betrayal behind my back for weeks while I was out working day and night on the largest and most important expansion deal our company had ever seen. I sat alone in my car in the cold parking lot for almost an hour, staring at the screen until the words became blurry with unshed tears. My hands turned ice cold. My chest felt so tight I could barely breathe. A wave of betrayal hit me so hard that I felt physically nauseous. It wasn't just about money or shares. This company was my dream, my identity, my blood, sweat, and every sacrifice I had made since I was 23, and my own family was trying to erase me from it like I never existed. That same night, I couldn't sleep at all. My mind kept racing with thousands of questions and painful memories. At 2 a.m., I finally called my most trusted lawyer friend, my voice cracking and shaking so badly that I could hardly form complete sentences. She listened patiently, then calmly guided me through every single document I had quietly saved over the years. The original incorporation papers that listed only my name as founder and sole owner, the properly signed equity agreements from the early days, the long chains of emails where my parents had repeatedly pushed me to keep everything informal because we're family, no need to involve lawyers or make it complicated. All of it proved without any doubt that the company was legally, morally, and emotionally mine. In that dark, painful moment, I made a firm and quiet decision that would change everything. I would not scream, cry, or beg in front of them. I would wait patiently for the perfect moment they themselves would create, and then I would serve them the cold, undeniable truth in the most public way possible. The days leading up to Thanksgiving felt surreal and heavy. I carried the thick manila folder containing all the printed evidence hidden in my bag everywhere I went. I practiced keeping my face calm in the mirror. I reminded myself again and again, this is not blind revenge. This is about taking back what is rightfully mine and refusing to be erased anymore. Finally, Thanksgiving Day arrived. The entire house was filled with warm, familiar, mouth-watering smells. perfectly roasted turkey with crispy golden skin, fragrant sage stuffing, creamy mashed potatoes swimming in rich gravy, freshly baked pies cooling on the counter, and the subtle scent of cinnamon and nutmeg in the air. The long oak dining table, the same table where I had once balanced my laptop and invoices while the rest of the family watched football, was beautifully decorated with white linen topcloth, sparkling crystal glasses, and soft flickering candles that cast a golden glow on everyone's faces. 22 relatives had gathered, aunts, uncles, cousins, grandparents, all chatting happily, exchanging warm hugs, sharing old family stories, and laughing loudly. It looked like the ideal, warm, picture-perfect family gathering that everyone dreams of. But underneath that beautiful, perfect surface, a storm of truth was quietly building, ready to explode. We had just started serving the main course. Plates were being passed around, everyone was smiling. Then Ethan stood up slowly from his chair. He was wearing an expensive tailored navy suit that looked brand new. His hair was perfectly styled. He cleared his throat dramatically and lifted his glass high so that every single person at the long table would pay attention to him. "Before we all dig in and enjoy this wonderful meal," he said loudly, his voice carrying across the entire room, "with practiced confidence, I just want to thank Mom and Dad for finally believing in me and for officially handing me the company." He paused for effect, looked straight at me with a sharp, cutting smile, and added, "And Arlette won't be involved anymore. She's getting nothing." Glass clink sound effect plus very long dramatic pause, complete silence. The entire room went deathly silent in an instant. Forks hovered frozen in midair. Laughter died completely. Eyes from every direction turned toward me. My aunt's face showed pure shock. My cousin coughed awkwardly. The warm atmosphere turned ice cold in seconds. I felt a massive wave of heat explode behind my eyes. My heart started hammering so loudly in my chest that I could hear it echoing in my ears. My hands clenched tightly under the table until my knuckles turned white. My parents refused to meet my eyes even for a second. Mom carefully dabbed her lips with her napkin as if this was just another normal dinner conversation. Dad stared down intently at the grain of the wooden table like it could somehow save him from what was coming. Ethan continued speaking, embellishing his story with every word, talking about how the company needed real, strong leadership, how our parents wanted long-term stability and growth, and how he was the perfect person to take it to the next level. The heavy, suffocating silence in the room pressed down on me from all sides. It begged me to shrink into my chair, to swallow the humiliation, to keep the so-called family peace like I had done silently for so many years. But something deep inside me finally snapped that night. Years of being the quiet, strong, responsible one who carried everything without complaint had reached their limit. I reached for my glass of red wine with steady hands. I took a slow, deliberate, long sip. The cool glass touched my lips. I could almost taste the years of swallowed anger, unspoken pain, and hidden strength I had been storing inside. Then I set the glass down with a soft but clear clink that somehow cut through the heavy silence like a knife. I looked directly into my father's eyes and asked in a calm, steady, controlled voice that surprised even me, "Should I tell them now, or do you want to?" That one simple question landed on the table like a shattering plate. Ethan's confident smile froze instantly mid-sentence. His face went pale. My father's head jerked up so fast that I actually heard the sharp movement. Pure, raw panic flooded his eyes, the look of a man whose carefully locked secret drawer had just been violently rattled open in public. He began stammering desperately, mumbling something incoherent about bad timing, family gratitude, and not the right moment. His words tumbled over each other in panic. but the entire room had already shifted dramatically. Every single eye was now locked on me. The gravity of the moment had completely flipped in my favor. I let the silence stretch longer and longer. The candles flickered nervously as if they could feel the tension. Even the delicious food on the plates seemed to grow cold and forgotten in the thick atmosphere. No one dared to speak or move. Then I asked again, my voice still gentle but now carrying unbreakable steel and power. Should I tell them now, or do you want to? What happened in the next few minutes, no one sitting at that long oak table was emotionally ready for. I stood up slowly from my chair. No shouting, no tears, just pure, controlled, surgical truth. I spoke clearly and loudly enough so that every single person at the table could hear every single word without missing anything. There are some things that everyone here tonight truly deserves to know, because this is not only about hurt feelings or a simple family disagreement. This is about the real truth that has been hidden for years. I began to lay out the entire story in careful, detailed, emotional layers. How I had founded the company completely alone at the young age of 23 with a loan I repaid every penny of myself. How I worked through freezing winter nights in a drafty studio, survived on cheap food, negotiated terrifying contracts with trembling hands, and paid my team before paying myself. How every early contract and legal document listed only me as the founder and sole owner. How my parents had only become involved much later, slowly turning their initial helpful advice into increasing pressure and hidden control. How Ethan's sudden promotion and the secret ownership transfer had been carefully planned behind my back while I was out working tirelessly on our largest and most important expansion deal. I watched the expressions on the faces around the long table change dramatically in real time, from confusion to shock, from disbelief to painful realization. Relatives started leaning forward, whispering questions that Ethan had no honest or convincing answers for. My mother tried to interrupt me desperately, her voice sharp and pleading. "Arlette, please stop. This is not the right place for this kind of conversation. Thanksgiving is supposed to be about togetherness, love, and family harmony." I turned to her calmly, steadily, and replied without raising my voice even slightly. "You chose this exact place and this exact moment when you allowed Ethan to stand up and publicly announce in front of the whole family that I was getting nothing. Togetherness built on lies, secrets, and betrayal is not real love. It is nothing but control wearing a beautiful, warm family mask." Ethan's voice suddenly rose in anger and panic. "You are completely exaggerating everything. The company needs stronger, more stable leadership. I was only stepping up for the good of the entire family." That was the exact moment I reached under the table and slid the thick manila folder across the smooth oak surface with a deliberate, heavy sound that made everyone jump slightly. "Open it, Dad," I said quietly but with deadly firmness. "Or I will open it and explain it myself." The folder contained printed copies of every single piece of undeniable evidence I had saved. Original incorporation documents with only my name clearly listed as founder and sole owner. Signed equity agreements from the early days. Long-saved email chains where my parents had pushed me repeatedly to keep things informal. The secret transfer document they had prepared. Bank records showing every dollar I personally invested while Ethan was enjoying luxury vacations. My father's hands were visibly trembling as he slowly opened the folder and began to flip through the pages one by one. His shoulders gradually sagged under the crushing weight of the undeniable proof right in front of everyone. A loud, sharp gasp escaped from one of my aunts. Another uncle whispered loud enough for everyone to hear, "This looks really bad, very bad indeed." I continued speaking without raising my voice even once, my tone steady and clear. I discovered the secret transfer attempt several weeks ago. I have already consulted professional legal counsel. I deliberately chose to wait until this very Thanksgiving night because I still held on to a small, foolish hope that you would choose honesty and fairness instead of this public spectacle and humiliation. But since you didn't, I am completely done protecting your feelings at the expense of my own future hard work and everything I built with my own blood and sweat. The room erupted into complete chaos within seconds. Voices overlapped and rose from every direction. Accusations started flying wildly. Ethan shouted defensively at the top of his voice that he had been promised the company ever since he was a little boy. My parents pleaded repeatedly, almost begging, that they were only trying to keep peace and harmony in the family. I stayed remarkably calm through all the noise and repeated my point clearly and firmly several times. Peace without fairness, without truth, and without respect is nothing but forced silence dressed up in the pretty clothes of family love. After many long minutes of heated arguments and emotional outbursts, my uncle finally stood up from his chair and raised his voice above the noise to bring some order. Everyone stop right now. This has gone far enough. Facts matter more than anyone's pride or ego in this situation. In the sudden, heavy, almost suffocating silence that fell over the entire table, my father finally broke down completely. His voice cracked with visible emotion and shame as he admitted the truth openly in front of the entire extended family for the first time. The company is legally Arlette's. Any attempt to transfer ownership to anyone else would not hold up in court. We only hoped that the family pressure and emotional expectations would eventually make her agree anyway. They didn't lose control that night, they just lost the illusion that they had ever truly had it over me. I stood up slowly from my chair. My coat was only half buttoned in. My heart was still racing hard inside my chest, but my spine was straight and strong for the first time in many years. I looked slowly and deliberately.
Should I tell them now, or do you want to?
That night, I didn't just save my company, I saved myself. If you are watching this long video right now and you have ever been pushed aside, disrespected, underestimated, or told by your own family that you deserved nothing after you gave everything you possibly could, please listen to these words carefully and take them to heart. You are not alone in your pain. You do not have to accept betrayal silently. Your voice matters. Your hard work matters. Your worth is not defined by their lies, their control, or their illusions of power. If this deeply emotional, raw, and ultimately satisfying story gave you goosebumps, that rush of justice, and the strength you needed today, please smash the like button with everything you have. Subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you never miss the next powerful, real-life revenge and redemption story. I personally read every single comment, so please drop your own family betrayal story, your Thanksgiving nightmare, or the moment you finally decided to stand up for yourself in the comments below. Tell me honestly what you would have done if you were in my place. Your stories inspire me and thousands of others watching. You deserve to be seen. You deserve fairness. You deserve respect. And sometimes the most powerful and lasting revenge is simply refusing to be erased from your own success story. Click on the next recommended video that just appeared on your screen. Another intense, emotional, and satisfying story is waiting for you right now. See you in the next one. Stay strong, stay true to yourself, and never let anyone steal your light or your worth.